The summer night was quiet when Zora first heard the weak crying coming from behind her family's garage. She was 12 years old and couldn't sleep, so she had been sitting by her window, looking at the stars. The sound was faint but clear, something was hurt. Grabbing her flashlight, Zora crept downstairs, careful not to wake her parents. The wooden steps made small noises under her feet as she made her way to the back door. Outside, the grass felt cool and wet between her toes. The crying got louder as she walked towards the garage. When she pointed her flashlight behind it, she found a small raccoon lying on its side. One of its back legs was badly hurt, and it looked thin and weak. Instead of running away when it saw her, the raccoon just looked at her with tired eyes. "Hey there, little one," Zora whispered, kneeling down slowly. "It's okay. I won't hurt you." The raccoon didn't move as she got closer. That's when Zora knew something was really wrong. Wild animals usually ran from humans. She ran back inside and woke up her mom, Aunt Kay, who was a veterinarian. "Zora, what are you doing up?" Aunt Kay asked, rubbing her eyes. "There's a hurt raccoon outside. Please, you have to help." Minutes later, they were both kneeling beside the injured raccoon. Aunt Kay examined it carefully with gentle hands. "It's a young female," she said. "Her leg is badly infected. She must have been hurt days ago." She looked at Zora seriously. "We need to take her to my clinic right now." They wrapped the raccoon in a soft towel and drove to Aunt Kay's veterinary clinic. The streets were empty at that late hour, and the clinic was dark and quiet. Under the bright lights inside, Zora could see how bad the raccoon's leg really was. "I'm sorry, sweetie," Aunt Kay said after examining the leg more closely. "The infection is too severe. We'll have to amputate the leg to save her life." Zora's eyes filled with tears. "But she'll be okay after that, right? If she survives the surgery. But she'll never be able to return to the wild." "Then I'll keep her. Please, Aunt Kay, let me take care of her." Aunt Kay looked unsure. "Raccoons aren't pets, Zora. They're wild animals." "But she needs us. Look at her, she came to our house for help. Please." After a long moment, Aunt Kay nodded. "We'll see how she does after surgery. But first, we need to save her life." Zora stayed awake all night while Aunt Kay operated on the raccoon. She sat in the waiting room, hugging her knees to her chest, hoping and praying the little animal would survive. As the sun began to rise, Aunt Kay finally came out of the surgery room. She looked tired but smiled. She made it through the surgery. She's very strong. Over the next few weeks, Zora visited the clinic every day after school to check on the raccoon, whom she named Luna because she'd found her on a moonlit night. Luna recovered slowly but surely, learning to move around on 3 legs. She was smart and figured out quickly how to climb and jump despite missing a back leg. More surprisingly, Luna seemed to bond with Zora. While she stayed wary of other people, she would climb into Zora's lap and let her scratch behind her ears. She would even take food directly from Zora's hand. "I've never seen anything like it," Aunt Kay said one day, watching Luna play with some toys Zora had brought. "She seems to understand you saved her life." Finally, after a month, Aunt Kay agreed that Luna could come home with them. Zora had already prepared a special corner in her room with a cozy bed, toys, and climbing structures she'd built herself. The first night Luna spent in Zora's room, something amazing happened. As Zora lay in bed reading, Luna climbed up beside her, curled up on her pillow, and started making soft purring sounds, something raccoons rarely did. "You're home now," Zora whispered, gently petting Luna's soft fur. But having a raccoon as a pet wasn't always easy. Luna was naturally curious and got into everything. She learned how to open cabinet doors and drawers, and nothing was safe from her clever paws. She would steal shiny objects and hide them in various places around the house. One morning, Zora's mom couldn't find her car keys anywhere. After searching the whole house, they finally found them hidden behind Luna's food bowl, along with several spoons, a bracelet, and Zora's math homework. Despite these challenges, Luna became an important part of their family. She would wait by the door when Zora came home from school, and they developed their own special routines. Luna would sit on Zora's desk while she did homework, occasionally trying to steal her pencils. At night, she would curl up on Zora's bed, keeping her company while she read. But Luna's most remarkable trait was her ability to sense when Zora was upset. One day, after a particularly bad day at school where some kids had made fun of her glasses, Zora came home crying. Before she even reached her room, Luna was there, climbing into her lap and nuzzling her face, as if trying to comfort her. As summer turned to fall, Luna and Zora's bond grew stronger. They spent weekends exploring the backyard together, with Luna teaching Zora how to find the juiciest berries on the bushes. Luna would follow Zora around like a faithful shadow, her three-legged gait becoming as natural as any other animal's walk. One cold October morning, Zora woke up to find Luna acting strangely. Instead of curling up in her usual spot, Luna was pacing near the window, making small crying sounds. When Zora tried to pet her, Luna grabbed her sleeve with her paw and pulled her toward the window. Looking outside, Zora saw smoke rising from their neighbor's house, the Hendersons. It wasn't a lot of smoke, but it was definitely not normal. Luna kept crying and pulling at her sleeve. "Mom! Aunt Kay!" Zora called out, running downstairs. "Something's wrong at the Hendersons." They called 911, and it turned out there was an electrical fire starting in the Hendersons' kitchen. The fire department came quickly and put it out before it could spread. Mrs. Henderson later came over with tears in her eyes to thank them. "If you hadn't called when you did," she said, unable to finish the sentence. When Zora explained how Luna had alerted her to the smoke, Mrs. Henderson bent down and offered Luna a piece of her homemade chicken. Luna, usually shy around strangers, gently took it from her hand. After that day, word spread around the neighborhood about the three-legged raccoon who'd helped save the Hendersons' house. People who had been worried about having a wild animal living among them started to see Luna differently. The local kids would stop by to watch Luna play in the yard. She was especially good with the younger children, letting them pet her and showing off her tricks, like how she could open jars with her clever paws or balance on her remaining back leg to reach high places. But not everyone was happy about Luna. One day, a man from animal control showed up at their door. "We've received complaints about a wild animal being kept as a pet," he said, looking stern. "Raccoons can be dangerous. They can carry diseases." "But Luna's different," Zora said quickly. "She's been checked by a vet. My aunt is a vet. She can't survive in the wild with 3 legs." The man frowned. "Rules are rules. Wild animals belong in wildlife centers, not homes." Aunt Kay stepped forward. "I can show you all of Luna's medical records. She's had all her shots, and she's been under my care since her surgery. She's safer here than she would be anywhere else." The man looked at Luna, who was hiding behind Zora's legs, and his face softened a bit. "I'll need to see those records. And we'll have to do regular checks." After he left, Zora hugged Luna tight. "Don't worry. I won't let anyone take you away." As winter approached, Luna revealed another special talent. She could tell when it was going to snow before any weather forecast. She would get excited and run around the house, checking the windows and making happy sounds. She was never wrong. Snow would always follow within a day. During the first big snowstorm of the year, Luna discovered she loved playing in the snow. Despite her missing leg, she would roll around making tiny raccoon snow angels and chase snowballs that Zora threw for her. One snowy evening, while Zora and Luna were playing in the backyard, they heard weird noises coming from their old shed. Luna's ears perked up, and she started moving toward the shed carefully. Zora followed her, curious about what caught her attention. Inside the shed, they found 2 small puppies, shivering and scared. They must have squeezed through a hole in the back wall to escape the cold. Luna approached them slowly, making soft, gentle sounds. Instead of being scared, the puppies seemed to trust her right away. "Mom! Aunt Kay!" Zora called out. "Come quick!" They brought the puppies inside and warmed them up. Luna stayed close, watching over them like a protective mother. When Aunt Kay checked them over, she found no collars or microchips. "They're strays," she said. "Probably abandoned." "Can we keep them?" Zora asked hopefully. Her mom laughed. "First a 3-legged raccoon, now 2 puppies? Our house is turning into a rescue center." But seeing how Luna had already adopted the puppies, curling up with them and sharing her food, they couldn't say no. They named the puppies Storm and Winter, and soon the 3 animals became inseparable. Luna taught the puppies everything she knew. She showed them how to get treats from the special puzzle toys Zora made, how to ask politely for food instead of begging, and even how to use the pet door. The sight of 2 puppies following a 3-legged raccoon around the house became normal in their home. The puppies also seemed to understand that Luna was special. When she had trouble climbing something because of her missing leg, they would work together to help her. Storm would let Luna use his back as a step, while Winter would stand guard. One day, while walking the puppies with Luna following along, she never needed a leash, she just stayed close to Zora. They met Ms. Elmwood, Zora's English teacher. She watched in amazement as Luna played with the puppies. "You know," Ms. Elmwood said thoughtfully, "this would make a wonderful story. Would you like to write about Luna for the school magazine?" Zora spent the next week writing Luna's story. She wrote about finding her that summer night, about the surgery, and about all the amazing things Luna had done since then. When the school magazine came out, Luna's story was on the front page, complete with pictures of her playing with Storm and Winter. The story caught more attention than anyone expected. A local newspaper reporter read it and asked to do a bigger story about Luna. Soon, people from all over town were coming to meet the special raccoon who had saved a house from fire and rescued 2 puppies. But Luna's biggest challenge was still to come. One night in early spring, during a heavy rainstorm, Luna started acting strange again. She kept going to the window, making upset sounds, then running to the door. "What's wrong, Luna?" Zora asked, following her to the back door. Storm and Winter were also upset, barking and pacing. When they opened the door, Luna shot out into the rain. Zora grabbed her raincoat and followed, with the puppies close behind. Luna led them to the creek behind their house. Because of all the rain, the water was much higher than normal. That's when they heard it, crying sounds coming from near the water. Luna was already heading toward the sound, careful on the slippery ground even with her 3 legs. There, trapped on a small island of dirt in the middle of the rising creek, was a small boy. Zora recognized him as Tommy, a 5-year-old who lived down the street. He must have been playing near the creek and got stuck when the water rose. "Tommy!" Zora called out. "Don't move. We're going to get help." But Luna had other plans. She jumped into the water and started swimming toward Tommy. Despite missing a leg, she was a strong swimmer. She reached the small island and climbed up next to the scared boy. "Luna, come back!" Zora shouted, worried about both of them now. But Luna knew what she was doing. She stayed with Tommy, keeping him calm while Storm and Winter ran back to the house, barking to get attention. Soon, Zora's mom and Aunt Kay came running, followed by Tommy's parents and some neighbors. The fire department arrived quickly and rescued Tommy, who was cold and scared but otherwise okay. Luna swam back on her own, shaking water everywhere when she got to shore. "Your raccoon saved my boy," Tommy's mom said, crying and hugging Zora. "How can we ever thank you?" The story of Luna's rescue made the local TV news. People were amazed by how a 3-legged raccoon had helped save a child. Letters started coming in from all over, sharing stories of other rescued animals who had gone on to help people. The animal control officer who had visited them came back, but this time with good news. "We're changing our rules about rescued wild animals," he said. "Each case will be looked at individually now. Luna has shown us that sometimes animals choose to stay with humans for a reason." As spring turned to summer again, life settled into a happy routine. Luna, Storm, and Winter would play in the yard while Zora did her homework outside. Luna still stole shiny things and hid them, but now she also taught the puppies to bring them back when asked. On warm nights, Zora would sit in her window seat just like she had done the night she found Luna. But now, instead of being alone, she had Luna curled up in her lap, with Storm and Winter sleeping nearby. Sometimes, she would look at the stars and think about how one small decision, going to check on a crying sound in the night, had changed so many lives. Luna looked up at her with those intelligent eyes that had seen so much, and Zora hugged her close. "You're not just my pet," she whispered. "You're my hero." And Luna, as if understanding, made her special purring sound and snuggled closer. The story of Luna, the 3-legged raccoon, became a favorite in their town. It taught everyone that heroes come in all shapes and sizes, and that sometimes the strongest love and bravery can come from the most unexpected places. Even years later, people would still tell the story of the brave raccoon who proved that being different didn't mean being less capable. And in Zora's home, Luna continued to watch over her family, proving every day that some animals choose to be more than just pets, they choose to be guardians.